Hi, I'm Henry Acosta, and this is the Outsourcing and Offshoring Philippines podcast. And today I am with the owner and CEO of Clark Outsourcing and a lot of other outsourcing service or businesses here in Angeles or in Angeles City, Clark. His name is Russell Meiselman, and thank you for letting us visit your offices, Russell. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you.
And so can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got started with outsourcing?
I guess I'll start with myself. I started with outsourcing almost 10 years ago now. It actually started with me being on the other side of the table. So I used to outsource processes out of Arizona to India and the Philippines. And it essentially turned into me traveling heavy amount of hours and months per year to the Philippines, to India, helping the call centers that I outsourced to make sure that what they did for us was what we needed. And so it really just turned into me being over here a lot, and it turned into me wanting to get the processes right, and that was essentially how it started. At some point in time, I'm not sure exactly when, but somewhere around 10 years ago, I just decided I could do it better myself. And so the first call center I opened was in Baguio, and that was just for a short period of time. Went back to the States, kind of regrouped, make sure everything was set, and then I came back, and I actually was in Manila for 9 months. And after that, we found Clark. So Clark is it's a strategic area for us, simply because it's not Manila, it's inhabitable, and the talent pool is big enough to where it makes sense. That along with a lot of the business incentives here in Clark, like the Freeport portion and the taxes and the foreign investment, and the fact that you can actually own 96% of your business as a foreigner in the Philippines makes a big deal.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you have experience with outsourcing in other countries like India. So can you tell us the difference on why you ended up choosing the Philippines over those countries?
A lot of it has to do with culture. Culturally, the Philippines is the closest to Western civilization, meaning, first world countries, America, Australia, the UK. Culturally, they're very close. Not only that, but the accents that Filipinos carry are very minimal in comparison to what you would get with an Indian or a Romanian or South African. You're able to communicate, especially in America. It's a big pool of foreigners that have moved and live in America. So a Filipino accent is somewhat neutral. Sure, it's not a native speaker born and raised or something like that, but there's enough foreigners in America and Australia and the UK to allow a slight accent and not be questioned, and Filipinos have that.
Awesome. And can you tell us about Clark Outsourcing, the services that you guys do and what you offer to your clients?
Sure. We offer really three things. Incubation, which is like a cold seat. It's essentially you're just renting the space. You get the seat, computer, internet access, that's it. The second, warm seats, we call it remote staffing, which is where we manage all of the back end, admin, HR, recruitment, everything on the back end, and then our clients will pick their final staff, and then they manage the day-to-day.
All right, so where are your clients where do they mostly come from? Are they from the US, Australia, or which part of the world?
We're actually pretty diversified. I would say 30% of our staff is US and 30 UK, 30 Australia. We made it a point to ensure that we were just diversified in the sense that we're not stuck on one economy. So our facility runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Sounds great. And we did some research on you, and it seems like you have more than one outsourcing business. Can you tell us about the other outsourcing services that you have and that you guys offer so everyone will know about them?
Sure. The other businesses are essentially So the facility that we're sitting at now is primarily for the remote staffing clients, which are the people that are dealing with their staff on a day-to-day. We do lead generation in another facility, so sales. A lot of the incubation, which is the seat leasing, that's being done in a couple different facilities. So it's essentially, yeah, sure, there are different businesses, but it's just one. It's really one, meaning it's the same management, it's the same people that are managing it. It just comes down to different areas. We like to keep things separated. So if you run a hardcore lead generation team, we're going to put you in a place where it's cubicles and you have the noise canceling, et cetera, et cetera. Here, it's more of an open workspace, industrial modern, creative type of workspace. So that's for those type of staff.
Can you let us know, or just let us in a little bit of info on how you guys usually get your clients?
Yeah. Clients, of course, people will inquire via email or they'll call. But I would say most of our business is going to their home country and meeting with them. So I'm actually, as I told you in the beginning, right, I'm leaving here on the 4th of October. I'm going to be spending a month in the UK to go visit our current clients and also generate new business. So we really go out and just put the boots on the ground and kind of do it manually versus organically on the internet or something like that. So we go out and go and find and meet our clients in person, and that's how we bring them in.
Can you tell us about the process on how it is with you guys? Let's say I'm a client and I'm getting started with outsourcing. What can I expect from Clark Outsourcing?
Yeah, so, I'll talk about, I guess, the most popular service, which is the remote staffing. Essentially, the way that it works, to give you a really simple version, is this. We will find the staff, we'll recruit them, we'll test them, we'll screen them. We'll put them in front of you for a final interview, and if you say, okay, I'm going to hire Alex, okay, as my accountant or my engineer or my whatever it is, the process will be, we'll manage all the back end. So we'll manage the onboarding, the payroll, the infrastructure, the IT, the conferencing, everything that you could imagine in dealing with any particular employee. All of that back end we would deal with. The only thing that you, as a client, would have to manage would be their tasks or their projects. So if they're an engineer, you need to assign them the projects for them to run their AutoCAD or whatever it is. Or if they're a nurse and they're your transcriber, then you need to make sure that they're in that next appointment with you for your patient, and so on. So you're only dealing with them on a day-to-day basis. If anything comes up on the HR side or admin or payroll, we handle everything from there.
And can you let us in on, how do you recruit your employees and how's your retention so far?
Our retention is great. The reason I think it's better than I would say most is because of the workspace. I don't know if you guys were able to take a tour or not, but it's definitely not a standard call center environment, right? We have a Statue of Liberty, we have shipping containers as offices, full kitchen, we have a dojo and gym with with a yoga teacher and jiu-jitsu teacher every day. We provide a really cool, creative work environment. So our retention in that sense is really well established, and we don't lose a lot of staff. And it also helps that we hire professional level staff. We're not the standard call center where it's customer service, tech support, sales. We employ, like I mentioned earlier, engineers, nurses, AutoCAD operators, financial related accountants or financial planners or those types of things. So when they're at that professional level and they're in the upper class of salary ranges in the Philippines, they don't tend to hop jobs nearly as often. So how do we find them? Good question. It's tough, but you go out. We have a pretty big recruitment team, and we do everything from online to job fairs to, as bad as this may or may not sound, we go out and headhunt, and we really find people. If they have a job and we know they're in Mexico or Manila or somewhere like that, and we need them, we will find a way to get them.
So can you tell us about the kind of culture that you cultivate, not just in the workplace, but also with your clients, and how the engagement works with both sides?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, internally, to exclude the clients just for this portion, the HR staff does, counseling. Most of the admin and HR staff that we hire are, they have psychology background, so they talk with staff on a monthly basis, if not more. Just do counseling, grievance, talk to them, see how things are going, and etc. As a company as a whole, internally, the culture that we really try to emulate is just an open door, creative place to work. We don't have uniforms. We don't require the staff to wear this or that. They can wear whatever they feel are comfortable in. We're pretty flexible in comparison to a lot of other call centers as far as what they do on a day-to-day, how their hourly is managed. If they perform and they want to take an extra 15-minute break to go and have lunch with their buddy down the road, we allow that. And so the culture is it's relaxed. It's not high pressure in the sense that we're putting people on the spot to do the work. The only thing we really expect is just great performance and a great output. So we have a team of employees. They call themselves the CO League. And essentially, they are our employee retention team. And it's just random employees, not HR, not admin. These are employees that were elected, in a sense, to this group. And they are the ones that plan the events. And they, every month, I think, or once or twice a month, they have some sort of thing going on. And so it's just, again, it's a place that we want people to want to come to work versus have to come to work. And so that's just the biggest thing. And a lot of our clients are on the same page. When they come in, we highly encourage our clients to come and visit. I know a lot of call centers don't, or clients simply don't come and visit. If we have to, if you've been a client with us for, let's say, 6 months and you haven't visited, I'll buy your ticket and make you come. Oh, wow. It's just important that you meet your staff in person. Have a beer, have dinner, look them in the face, and build a proper relationship in that manner. Great, remote staffing works 100% of the time, but it just makes it so much easier when you've met the person in, face to face, and you're able to communicate them and build somewhat of a relationship. So that's important.
Yeah, so it seems that everyone in your offices, they're active, and when I actually walked in, I was pretty surprised. From the outside, it doesn't look like much, but then when you walk in, you see so many things happening. Yeah,
I mean, the design of the building, from the outside, we really kind of wanted to keep it that way. I mean, we're in a business park, and there's no flashy buildings. There's no, crazy statues outside of people's buildings, and everybody does their business quietly, and they want it to be successful, and they do that. So, but what we wanted to create in the inside is a place where not only new staff, but existing staff, every day when they walk in, they're like, wow, I work here. So the 25-foot Statue of Liberty, the AstroTurf, the polished concrete, the industrial, we used pallets for the tables. We didn't build proper cubicles. I mean, this conference table, this is made out of railroad ties, and then we built everything from scratch. So nothing that's in this office except for the chairs that we're sitting in was purchased in the store. Everything was built by hand. So that is that type of feeling that we wanted to give people when they walk in.
So back on the topic of your clients.
Sure.
So can you tell us about how you guys agree on terms and services and how they get billed, or how the process goes in that part?
Sure. I mean, when it comes to the service, we have set services. So there's not a whole lot of negotiation happening. There's not a whole lot of this or that going on. It's really, here are the services we offer. Clients pick that. There are things that they can add on to the services if they wanted to, but essentially it's a set service. So as far as billing goes, I mean, it's monthly. It's all done through an automated system, and we have the bonds and deposits and those types of things to secure the staff. But other than that, it's a pretty simple system. It's really not our service. It's simpler than I would say 9 out of 10 services are for normal call centers. Like most people tried to convolute and make things complicated. It's really simple. What type of staff do you need? Okay, great. Here's a cost monthly. Pay a deposit and start.
All right, sounds great. And well, since we're almost out of time, can you leave us a takeaway message for everyone who's listening, who's interested in outsourcing and talking to you guys here at Clark Outsourcing?
I mean, whether you're interested in talking to us or you're thinking about just doing outsourcing in general, I think it's important that you do your research. A lot of people, especially in North America and other places, outsourcing is not an easy button. That's the number one thing I can say. If you think getting an outsourcing team is going to solve all your problems, you're wrong. Getting an outsourcing team is about developing a team remotely that will, in the very short future, be beneficial to you at a very, very good, cost-effective price. So, hiring an engineer in an office in London is the same, and how long it takes them to get up and running is the same as it would if you were to hire them here. The only difference is they cost 10% of the cost. So that's it. That's all it really comes down to. Is just don't go into call center outsourcing or any sort of outsourcing at all to have an easy button. Do it because you want sustainable long-term growth.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for letting us visit your offices. And yeah, it was great having you on the show, Russell.
Thanks again.
And that was Russell Meiselman, head honcho of Clark Outsourcing. And if you want to know more about Clark Outsourcing, please do visit their website at www.clarkoutsourcing.com. And if you want to reach Russell, you can email him at Russell, that's Russell, at clarkoutsourcing.com. And if you like this interview and you'd like to know more about the outsourcing and offshoring industry here in the Philippines and get to know all the BPO firms here, please do visit our website at www.offshoring.com.ph. I am Henry Acosta, and thanks so much for listening. This is the Outsourcing and Offshoring Philippines podcast.